all things immigration. Welcome back to SouFLoTV. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you've never been here before, and let's get right into the topic. What green card holders need to know about aggravated felonies. Here's some information about what green card holders need to know about aggravated felonies. I know a lot of people who are immigrants who have legal status to be in the U.S. They are green card holders, have not transitioned over to what we call the blue book or citizenship yet. A lot of people are under the impression that green card holders have absolutely no rights, or under this administration, things can get pretty hairy for a green card holder pretty fast. So it's super important that you understand every step of the way. For many immigrants, holding a green card is a hard-earned privilege. It's a ticket to a better life, a safer home, a future built on hope and sacrifice. Once you have that green card, you can start looking forward to citizenship in a few years. You must first demonstrate with that green card that you are able to live in the United States of America, work and pay taxes as a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. And you must demonstrate that you want to be here. You want to have your family here, your business here. America will be your home, the United States of America. Once you've done so, and you've met the years and requirement doing so, then it should be an easy transition from green card over to citizenship. However, few people realize that this privilege is not ironclad. It can be lost. Matter of fact, it can be lost in a heartbeat if someone is convicted of what U.S. immigration laws called aggravated felony. The term aggravated felony, it may sound straightforward, but in reality, it is broad, technical, and often misunderstood. So we dug up some information right here from an attorney who wanted green card holders to understand aggravated felony and how it pertains or what a green card holder should know about it. It includes crimes that under the state law may not be considered aggravated or may not even be considered felonious. But once classified as such under federal immigration law, the consequences are swift and unforgiving, mandatory deportation. I'll say that again, mandatory deportation. Let me go through that whole part for you one more time on repeat. The term aggravated felony may sound straightforward, but in reality, it is broad, technical, and often misunderstood. It includes crimes that, under the state law, may not even be considered aggravated or felonious. But once it is classified as such under federal immigration laws, then the consequences are swift and unforgiving, and it leads to mandatory deportation, permanent inadmissibility, and loss of eligibility for most forms of immigration relief. In other words, then, mandatory deportation means you're going back to where you came from. Permanent inadmissibility, it means you will never be able to come back to the United States of America. And loss of eligibility for most forms of immigration relief means nobody could save you, right? In a nutshell. So what is an aggravated felony? If you notice, sometimes the state law might not even consider your action that you did an aggravated felony, but immigration federal law might pick it up, that same act, and classify it as aggravated felony, and that is enough to get you deported and permanently inadmissible. Now, what is an aggravated felony? So under Section 101, parenthesis A43 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, or the INA, an aggravated felony includes a wide range of criminal offenses. I know right now somebody is saying, well, just don't do any criminal offenses then. Okay, well, maybe this video is not for you, so leave it for somebody else who is seeking to understand the laws. Not that you are not involved in criminal activities, so you're just 100% safe. You know, your family members, your friends, somebody who is close to you or close to your family might be green card holders who might one day find themselves caught up in, or you can at least warn them based on knowledge of their actions that, hey, what you are doing, you might not think it's deportable, but they're going to send you right back to where you come from, and you cannot be saved. I don't care what good lawyer you get, you cannot be saved. And you will never be allowed to return back to the U.S. again. So, an aggravated felony includes a wide range of criminal offenses. If convicted of any of these offenses at any time after being admitted as a lawful permanent resident into the United States of America, you can be removed from the United States of America and barred from ever returning. Here are some of the most common offenses that are classified as aggravated felonies. This could just be for educational purposes also. Not that we are criminals seeking to work our way around the law. We're just seeking to understand what aggravated felonies are and why green card holders should be aware of them and stay away from them. So, murder, rape, sexual abuse of a minor, those are considered aggravated felonies. Affirm that sexual abuse of a minor is an aggravated felony. Estrada Rodriguez versus Garland, 2022, confirmed that sexual abuse of a minor is an aggravated felony. Now, if you're like me, I would definitely say if you're a green card holder and you are here committing rape, murder, or sexual abuse of a minor, you should definitely be, I have other words that should happen to you, especially the part about the abusing of the minor. But murder and rape in someone else's country, not that it's good in your own, but you definitely should not be allowed to stay around, right? And then the second is drug trafficking offenses. A lot of people get caught up under this one. So this includes the sale, distribution, or possession with intent to sell. Now, I want you to understand something. There is no limit to the amount that you're holding. I'm guessing that different states might have different regulations concerning what amount must be in your possession for it to be considered possessing with intent to sell. However, different states have different measurements, and some states, they can just go with the fact that, hey, you got caught with it. And we don't care if it's a spoonful or a shopping bag full. You got caught with it. So, and you intended to sell it. And if they classify you as that under federal immigration laws, it could be deemed a aggravated felony. Imagine being deported because you got caught with a small bag of weed that you paid $10 for, that you can get about 3-4 joints out of, and that's it. And they deem that a aggravated felony, and because it is called an aggravated felony, you are automatically deportable. Lopez versus Gonzalez, 2006. The cases that set the precedents, the standards, clarified that simple possession is not an aggravated felony, but trafficking offenses are. So again, you might be caught with a little bag of weed or a personal amount use. In some states, you might be able to get away with it as a green card holder without being automatically deported. But under the Trump administration, I would advise for you to be super careful because they can easily classify that as aggravated, and you will be deported. Then, number 3, you have firearms or explosive trafficking. So if you're trafficking firearms, you're buying and selling, stealing and selling, however you're doing it and selling firearms, you're not a licensed, registered arms dealer, you can get in big trouble for that. Or explosives. And you know what? Those explosives could even come down to 4th of July fireworks. You know, the big explosives? Yeah. And then number 4, fraud or money laundering involving loss exceeding $10,000. So, individuals are into scamming, bang the line, chop the line kind of thing with your throwaway phone. Hello, this is Mr. Martin Smith from Publishers Clearinghouse. May I speak to Mr. James Brown, please? Yes, Mr. James Brown, this is Mr. Martin Smith from Publishers Clearinghouse. I am calling to inform you, sir, that you have won 5 million US dollars. Yes, absolutely, sir. That right there, that falls right under this. That's called aggravated felonies. It falls right under aggravated felonies. So if you are caught with a green card in the United States of America and you are caught scamming in this manner, you'll be on the list for deportation, okay? Now, fraud or money laundering, there's a stipulation to it that says it must involve the loss exceeding $10,000. The case that set the precedence, Kawashima versus Holder, 2012, ruled that filing a false tax return with a loss over $10,000 also qualifies for you to be deported, is a aggravated felony. It's tax season, y'all, and a lot of green card holders are out here enjoying the ability to be able to work in the United States of America, pay your taxes, earn your living in US dollars, send money back home because a US dollar in your country is $150 to one, and you can stretch a dollar. Don't you dare go lying on your taxes when you file your taxes, because if you file a false tax return with a loss of over $10,000 and they find out, then that will qualify you also for a aggravated felony, which will put you on the deportable list. See, this is why I said earlier, you might be listening to the video saying, well, I'm not robbing or raping anybody, so I don't have to listen to the rest of it. Well, fraud, money laundering, scamming, filing false information on your income tax return, those all also are on the list as well. Then you have crimes of violence with a sentence of at least 1 year. The crimes of violence could be something domestic. I tell people with green card all the time, if you're in a relationship that is tumultuous and it gets to the point where you're so aggravated you want to put hands on your partner, or your partner wants to put hands on you, you need to get up out of that situation as fast as possible, because it can easily end up with you catching an aggravated felony charge. Your green card is revoked, you're placed on deportation order, and you are barred from ever entering the United States of America again. Then there is theft offenses with a sentence of at least 1 year. Theft offenses. Some people can't keep their hands to themselves and they feel like other people's belongings are theirs. So you go in somewhere and you steal something, and depending on the value of what you stole, the year will be given at sentencing. Some people steal stuff, they end up with probation and community service. Some people steal stuff, they end up with a year in the county. If you hit that year in the county or anything over that, just know that under immigration federal laws, that could be classified as aggravated felony, and you can be deported, and you also can be barred from ever entering the United States of America again. Of course, there are others like child pornography offenses. If it's in your phone or on your device anywhere, I say to a lot of people all the time, if you go traveling through immigration, through TSA, they have all rights. When you're coming into this country or even when you're leaving, they can demand to see your phone. They can demand for you to unlock your phone. They can explore your phone if they want to. And if they do, and they find anything along these lines, child pornography, and you are definitely going to be in a world of hurt. Alien smuggling is another one. You're helping people to get into the United States of America by undocumented means. That is definitely one of them. A failure to appear for service of sentence, if the sentence is greater than 5 years, could be one as well. And the 10th on the list was attempt or conspiracy to commit an aggravated felony. Now, that's the most dangerous one of them all. And if you notice, that one is not clearly defined. Attempt or conspiracy to commit an aggravated felony. So that goes without saying. You don't even have to really have done it. You could have attempted to do it and got caught attempting to do it, and that's enough for you to be deported. Or conspiracy to commit an aggravated felony, which means you were in cahoots with somebody else, working out the plans, getting to it, trying to see if you can actually get it done. And next thing you know, boom, you're caught and you're deported, right? Legal and practical impact. Now, for green card holders, the legal impact of an aggravated felony conviction is devastating. If you're a citizen, it's different. If you are a green card holder, the legal impact for aggravated felony conviction is devastating. Here's what you will face. You will face deportation without relief. That means nobody can save you. If you are convicted of an aggravated felony carrying a green card, you will face deportation without relief. You will also then face ineligibility for naturalization, which means, of course, you can never become a citizen. But they're planning to deport you anyways, so you could see how you can never become a citizen. Permanent inadmissibility to return to the U.S., which means you will never be able to come back into the United States of America. Mandatory detention during your removal proceedings. Some people, they get in trouble and they tell them, go home and we'll call you when we're ready, etc. Nah, once you get found guilty of that aggravated felony, you are in confinement in a ICE holding, immigration holding, ERO holding, until you are deported out of the country. Mandatory detention during removal proceedings. And of course, there will be no eligibility for asylum for you, cancellation of removal or waivers. Nobody will be canceling your removal, no matter how good your attorney is, and no waivers can save you. Additionally, lawful permanent residents or green card holders with any criminal conviction, particularly those that must be considered aggravated felonies, should exercise extreme caution. I repeat, extreme caution when traveling outside the United States of America. Again, lawful permanent residents or those with criminal convictions who are green card holders, especially if you've been convicted of aggravated felonies, you should exercise extreme caution when traveling outside of the United States of America. You may be treated as seeking admission upon return and placed in removal proceedings. In other words, they might just see you coming back into the country and say, haha, there you are. You were not really on our radar, but since you're here right now, how about we just go ahead and just put these handcuffs on you and hold you in a facility and start processing you for deportation. A cautionary reminder: every immigrant should remember one mistake can change your life forever. That is why it is critically important for green card holders who have been charged or convicted or even arrested to seek competent immigration counsel immediately. Do not go telling your friends and taking their advice thinking they know the law. Do not just think you're going to wing it on your own and you'll be okay. Do not assume that your green card protects you. The law is very clear, but the consequences are also very harsh. Now, while the law can be unforgiving, it is also to remind us of something even deeper. The American immigration story is not only about opportunity, but it's also about responsibility. We carry not only our dreams, but also the duty to uphold the law and the values of the country that we now call home. Knowledge is power. By understanding the law, we are better equipped to protect our families, our future, and our hard-earned privileges that we have achieved. So each day is a new chance to live with dignity and integrity and respect, not just for the law, but for the sacrifices that brought us here to this country where we are at now. In the end, it's not only about keeping your green card, it's about preserving your future, your family, and the legacy that you're trying to build. So let us all choose to live wisely and stay informed and never forget why we left our homeland and came here to this great country called the United States of America in the first place. It was for the opportunities. It was ultimately to build a better life. Now, this provided information for information purposes, and this is not a legal advice where you should just go off this and not go see an attorney. If you have serious issues going on with yourself, I suggest that you do go and see an attorney and don't just take what you hear on SouFLoTV like, okay, this is going to save me. Please go see a real attorney at law who understands the law and can guide you properly, right? You can contact experienced immigration lawyer at Valera and Associates, PC, Metropolitan, Washington, D.C. I'm throwing one out there. Again, you can consult experienced immigration lawyers or contact their office at Valera, Valera, and Associates, PC, Metropolitan, Washington, D.C. And those people are super good at what they do and should be able to help you. Shout out to Arnado Valera for this piece of information right here. I'm going to leave this one right here. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Was there anything on the aggravated felonies list that you did not think could possibly be considered as aggravated felonies? And are you surprised that the penalties are so harsh? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.